Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another The Geek Authority show. My name is Lorenzo Marchessi, and this is the show where I get to talk to exciting people, all kinds of people, from actors, writers, producers, directors, cosplayers, and people in front of and behind the camera. And today, I am so lucky to talk to Brian Larios, who is my special guest. He's an actor, writer, director, producer, you name it. He does dishes. No, just kidding. Welcome, Brian. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really, really honored. So thank you. How are you?
The honor is mine because I get to learn from all these wonderful people I talk to. So let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about, you're an actor. That's how I met you. I met you from a stage performance that you did for Force of Nature Productions. And where are you from? When did you get the acting bug?
Awesome. Well, I'm an LA native. I know it's really boring because everyone here that's in the arts are from some exciting place in the world, but no, I'm born locally. And you know what? It's funny because it's cliche in a way that's like, ever since you're a kid, you wanted to be an actor. Everyone says that, right? But I do remember the one thing I'm kind of proud of was that although I would say that I wanted to be an actor, I would always be very active on like trying to make it happen. Like I remember I would like borrow my dad's like cameras that were at the time expensive and, like play around with them. And I was always trying to like, if there was a school project that I can do in a film way, I would do it.
Still cameras or video?
No, it was like he had like video cameras because he was working for like this weird company at the time that would let him kind of use it for it. I'm not supposed to talk about that because it's supposed to be secret stuff. That's as much as I can say, but He would always have gear to film stuff. So I would always like ask, like, can I please borrow it? And he would let me do it for a school project. So I would always try to put myself in front of the camera, and any school assignment, I'll try to do it in film way. So I guess it's always been with me, but I really took the like actual leap of faith about 6 years ago. I was working for IBM at the time, and I was like, you know what? I feel like there's something missing and I'm not like 100% happy, which is weird because I theoretically had everything you need to be happy, right? I had the big corporate job, like, I didn't have any problems elsewhere. It was just, I would get home and I would be like, this is it, like really, and do it again. So then I just told my parents, you know what, I'm just going to try this acting thing. And I went to a showcase here in LA called iPop, and I got my agent that way. And, it's been nonstop ever since, which is awesome.
And did you go right into like doing little projects for video or film, or did you actually go your first big performance like on stage or something?
Yeah, well, when I signed up with my agent, I got my first commercial for Google, which was super exciting because I've never been in like a major thing, and I was like freaking out. And the process was so cool because Google was doing like 3 segments in the same weekend. So we were hired for 2 days, and during those 2 days, they were filming 3 segments. And they were filming so many different little spots that they told us, like, if you get chosen, like if your spot actually gets aired, you'll get additional money. If you don't get chosen, well, then they'll just pay you for the days of work. And I was like, oh, like I was so nervous because I more than the money, I wanted it to like air because, it's like you want that rush. And everyone there was like, yeah, exactly. And everyone there on set, like they were like a little bit more seasoned, and they were like, hey, you know what? First time actors, normally their commercials don't air. So just don't stress about it. Just relax. And I'm like, okay, you know what? It is what it is. And then literally like 2 or 3 months later, I had forgotten about the whole thing. And then for some reason, like this thought came into my mind. I'm like, what happened to that Google commercial? And I went on YouTube and I just started like words that I remembered there about the production and what it was about. And then I saw my commercial and I was like, no way. And then literally like 2 weeks later, I got a check because it did air. I got a check for it. And I was like over the moon. It was the most amazing experience. And then now it's like, oh, okay, commercials are all right, but this is not, I want to do more film. It's like it's ever evolving. It's like we're mentally ill sometimes.
Right. And how have you done a lot of commercials?
I've done Google, I've done Sion, a Russian application, I've done ESPN, and I've done a spot for the Super Bowl recently for this last Super Bowl that we had for a pavement company.
Wow, that's pretty good.
It's been kind of fun. Yeah.
Yes, a lot of people can live off just doing commercials alone.
Just doing commercials, yeah.
And you kind of got that young look, so you're probably
thank you. I mean,
you do. It's like you're perpetual like 17 for the next 30 years. And
Okay.
people hate you. No, just kidding.
You know what? It's so funny that you bring that up because for the longest period of time, I swear to God, I hated being looking younger. I hated it because I was like, I want to, have roles where like I'm taken seriously because I wasn't like my agent would get me roles that was like college student or like, like all of these teenager roles and stuff. And I'm like, although I appreciate the work, I really want to be doing, quote unquote, something more impactful in my mind. And now that, like I can see the advantage of like me getting a little bit of extra cushion time, I'm like, oh, it's not that bad actually.
Yeah, and let's not forget to mention people like, that little tiny unknown Michael J. Fox, who played a 17-year-old for what, 5 years? Actually, major
Exactly.
motion pictures, the whole bit. So,
Exactly. So
yeah, don't
okay.
complain if somebody says you look 17. I'll take it.
Thank
Um,
you.
um, I'm Ray's little brother, from Star Wars. Anyway, um, so okay, so you've done commercials. So when did you actually get on a stage for the first time?
Well, that's interesting. I mean, I did plays in school and stuff, the typical stuff, but nothing serious. I think it was honestly until I did with Force of Nature. That was my first time on like an
Really?
actual stage for reals. And I did a play called Dia de los Muertos, which was part of his like anthology of I guess it's like short stories that all kind of connect throughout time. And this one was the second iteration where it had to do with like Mexican folk, sorry. And so it was about that festivity, but it was my first time ever doing it. So I remember going to the audition and I was there super early. Literally, I was there like an hour early because I had to do something else in Burbank. And I'm like, I'm just going to go and ask if I can do my audition and just go because it's like a Saturday. I'm tired. So I get there and Vince was like right there waiting in like this little table, like in the middle of nowhere, like well, outside his house, but for me it was the middle of nowhere. And he's like, hey, so I told him, I'm like, I'm so sorry I'm here so early, but I was wondering if I could do my audition. And he's like, oh, I don't think so because they're still trying to set up the back and we're not ready yet. I'm like, okay. So I go back into my car and I'm debating. I'm like, should I leave? Should I stay? Like, what do I do? And for whatever reason, I just decided to stay and wait like an hour for my audition. And during that audition, I met Andy, I met Melissa, and I met Sebastian, of course. And the thing is that they never told me. I always tell them they never told me that I was supposed to be able to sing in this thing, and I'm not a singer by any means. So the day that we started doing rehearsals and everything, she's like, okay, well, you're gonna get on top of this box and sing this part. And I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, you never said I had to sing. And he's like, oh yeah, like I thought someone mentioned it. I'm like, no. So I was like super nervous. I went and took like singing classes and like I tried my best to be like, okay, I'm gonna practice and practice. Luckily, I think I didn't kill anyone during that performance, which is great. But it definitely kind of like awoke this bug of like, well, maybe I do like a little bit of singing, not for like professional, but just for like for fun and to learn. So I continue to take a little bit more classes and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
you make yourself more marketable in terms of the
Mm-hmm.
acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, singing doesn't hurt. If you're triple threat, singer, actor, dancer. Um, but let's get into the other side now. I know you like I don't know if it's because of the COVID or you've always had the bug, but now you're producing and you're directing, and apparently, what's going on with that? What are you working on
Yeah.
now?
It's really interesting that you say that because I don't know if I don't know what it is, if it's anxiety OCD, I don't know. But I've always been the kind of guy that just can't stay still. And like, I'm going to auditions with my agent, but sometimes you go for a couple of weeks and you don't get anything. And I just wanted to feel more in control. Like I was tired of having to wait for people to tell me yes. But because I'm like, well, if I'm always waiting for somebody else that doesn't really know me to give me the yes, it's like I feel like I'm not really in control, which I mean, part of the whole art form that we're in is not being in control. And I get that, but there's some certain areas that in my mind, I'm like, I think I could do it. So I started buying equipment. Literally like I bought my Canon 80D, which was my first DSLR that I was like, okay, I felt like a big boy, because I was doing things with my iPhone and stuff. And then I was like, no, like I need to be serious. So I bought a DSLR, a super entry level, and I bought a couple of lights and I started just literally shooting things on my free time, like by myself, just like learning on YouTube, like lighting techniques and sound and like what did I need and that kind of stuff. And I started doing things, and of course it's its own language, and it's really hard to try to convey something on film and short and that people can be engaged because you have this world in your mind that you think everyone else has, and it's not true. So I started playing around with it, and then through force of nature, still like I was still doing theater and stuff, I met three wonderful people: Danielle Swanson, Walter Cartman, and Anna Regine, who all been in force of nature and are doing shows with Andy right now. And the three of us, we were talking because we did a show called it was like a new version of that original show that I did. It's all full circle now that I think about it, but it was also with force of nature, and it had to do with the same anthology, but this was a different incarnation, and it was more about like fears when you're growing up, and when you're like a kid, and it was a bit more experimental. And we ended up taking it to, what's that huge convention center in Long Beach? um Midsummer Scream.
I'm not sure.
I think
Um,
so. I think it's
yeah, and
Midsummer
I
Scream.
noticed, behind you too. For people that are looking, looks like you got a little studio set up for yourself too.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you
So
have green
I've
screen?
upgraded. I do. I have a green screen and everything. I've been upgrading. Like I said, these are my my aperture lights, which I freaking love. They're so cool, and they don't produce a lot of heat. But anyway, so yeah, so we were doing this show, and we like booked a hotel right next to the auditorium, and we really got to bond because I mean we were together for rehearsals, for performances, and it was this really truly like cool friendship that we developed. And one day I told him, "Hey guys, well I have equipment, but I can't always be doing everything by myself. So do we want to like get together and do something?" And they were like, "Oh yeah, we should do something." And then from there grew what is now 3D1S Productions, which is our production company. So it's kind of weird that that's how I got into this, and now it hasn't stopped yet.
What is your production company name?
It's called 3D1S Productions, and there's a funny story behind it if you want to hear it.
I do.
Okay, so everyone thinks that 3D is like some sort of like 3D effects or something, but the reality of it, and they're gonna kill me once they listen to this, is that back in the day, I was like, I would never drink, right? I was like super sober, like never that kind of kid. And these guys would drink, so normally I was a designated driver. When we would go out and stuff, I was always the one driving them around and stuff. So I think one day, I think we were going to like Sebastian's birthday party or something at a bar, and I was driving them, and I was like, wouldn't it be fun, like, because you guys are always drunk, which they were not drunk, they were just drinking. And I'm always the sober one. It would be like, three drunks, one sober production, 3D1S. And it just like, it was a game, and we just kept playing with it. And then it just became our thing. So
Very cool.
yeah.
Very cool. Hey, I don't know. This guy kind of showed up. I don't know. What should I do?
Oh, look at this guy. Oh my God.
And there's this. If you look above, there's his website. So
Oh, and my
let's
website. Thank you.
yeah, let's show him a little quick, little real quick, and then you can kind of walk him through.
Sure.
This is your website. Um,
Oh yeah,
I believe,
that's me.
I believe that's you at the age of what, 12, 10? No, just kidding.
I wish.
Um, so what do we got here? Who's
Oh,
MGMT artist?
yes. MGMT Artist is my agency. I met them through that showcase I did like 5 or 6 years ago at IPOP. And Herman Morales is my agent, and he's wonderful. So he's always, trying to help me. He's been great at getting me stuff. So he's a great guy. That's my
Wow.
ESPN commercial. Oh, that one is my Super Bowl commercial, the one where I'm like getting eaten by that monster. That's the latest one I have.
Which one? The
Um,
upper left? No.
Upper right for me, I guess.
Oh, upper
The
right.
one with the
Okay.
eagle. Yeah, and this lady slapping the guy. That was the latest one I
All right.
have. And then
Let's go one by one. So on the upper
okay,
left, what are we looking at?
ESPN commercial.
And where are you? That's you. There you are.
That's me. And there's the little baby that I had, because apparently I have kids now. I'm a kid that has a kid.
Okay. Righty.
And
I
then
love they say you can start early. Okay, on the right then
on
is the
this
one.
side, we have the Super Bowl spot with this lovely lady that was my very Beverly Hills type wife. And I get killed by this like pavement monster. So yeah.
Eagle. Okay.
Yeah.
And let's slide it down here. What do we got down here?
Oh, okay. Interesting. So on this side, and this is funny that it comes up because I probably, I think it's important to talk about it, but the one in yellow, and a lot of people knew me as Brian Larios, right? And that changed recently because I'm working with someone with marketing. His name is Eric Robner. Super great guy. He's worked with a lot of actors and people that are working actors today. And we had a conversation, and he's like, hey, I think you can do more than just comedy. So I kind of wanted you to rebrand and kind of say goodbye to Brian Larios. And I honestly, it's the weirdest thing because it really means nothing. But for me, I felt like a little piece died for a second. I was like, oh, like that hurts because everyone knows me as Brian Larios. But this was a little promo ad that I did by myself back then before I had my marketing team, and I was like super convinced that I was Brian Larios and that was going to be my legacy or my branding, right? So at the time I was just like, I'm going to film something to tell people who I am. So that's that.
Have you done stand-up at all? I'm just curious.
I took a couple of stand-up classes, but I never did it like actual like full force. No.
Open mic or anything? Okay.
Yeah, no.
What's the right picture? The lady coming at us in her bathing.
This was another commercial I did for a smaller company. It's where I met one of my great friends, Scott Takai. He's an amazing DP, and he was the one that responsible for this commercial. But it's really funny because in this commercial, they had this saying that like everything that comes out of the water looks sexier. So I jump into this pool and I come out as like this sexy man, which is really funny to play.
Have you jumped in yet? No.
Not yet. Yeah, I don't know if you guys will be able to see. It's right there. It's gonna happen right there. There we go. I jump in and then I become this sexy dude.
Oh wow! Now, yeah. How did you get all the makeup for that, or was that prosthetic?
I wish. It's my good buddy. We met on set actually, and he's a blast. A lot of fun. Super cool skater dude. So we made a lot of friends on that set.
Okay, what do we got here?
Voyage LA is a magazine. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but they pretty much do local stories about our community, actors and producers and writers. And I was super fortunate that they reached out to me and wanted to cover like a piece about me, which was amazing because this was the first time that I gotten any type of press, right. It was really cool. And yeah, they asked me about 3D1S and who I was. So that link is to that article if anyone ever wants to go and read it.
Okay.
And then the last thing here is it's a web series that I'm in. It's called Maids and Butlers. It's kind of like what's that show? The Office. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's like a documentary.
Both versions.
Yeah. So this is Ray Torres's version of it. He wrote it and produced it. Actually, episode 2 is going to be coming out like in a couple of weeks. So I'm really excited about that. But my character here is like super opposite to me. He's like a lovebird that's like super in love with this chick, and like they're that annoying couple that are always together and like cannot stop touching each other. So that's who they are.
Okie dokie. So don't take life too seriously. Just laugh it off. I like it. Okay. I'm gonna, let's see, where is it? I knew there were a couple things. Commercial reel, comedy reel.
Yeah,
does that take you to IMDb?
It should, yeah. It should take me to my IMDb.
There you are.
There's that guy.
There's photos, filmography. Wow, actor, producer, director, writer, editor, dishwasher.
I wouldn't mind doing some dishwashing.
Okay, let's jump to this. This is your YouTube channel.
Oh, it's just starting, guys. Sorry for the only 28 subscribers. I'm just starting.
Hey, me too. I mean, it's all about subscribing. So yeah. I'll subscribe to you if you subscribe to me.
I think I already did, but I'll totally go ahead. I'm pretty sure I did, but if not, I'll do it again.
Okay, you heard it here, folks. He said he would. Anyway, so what do we got here? What do we?
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing this because I'm really, really excited and proud about this little project. It's a dramatic series called Pen Pal, and the reason why I'm excited is for many reasons. One is I'm doing it all by myself during this COVID time. Second, I have like I guess a little bit of a unique format. It's every episode is only 1 minute in length, and there's no real dialogue. Everything is very visual, very music, and sometimes there's text on it. But it's pretty much, it follows an asexual man. It's an important topic that I really wanted to talk about. And he finds this like mysterious friendship that, that kind of like seems that has everything he ever wanted in a connection, but we don't know who he is. So throughout the story, we kind of discover a little bit more of who this character Nathan is and who this other friendship is. So tomorrow, actually at 5:15 p.m. PST, episode 5 drops. So I hope you guys can watch it.
Yeah, I love the fact that they're shorts, they're sweet, looks like a minute, maybe a little more than a minute long.
Yeah.
And they say a lot. So guys, you really got to click on these things and watch them.
Thank you.
I got a question though. With the music, where are you getting your music? Are you doing duty free, or do you have a composer? What's going on?
I pay for a it's a subscription based called Music Bed, and they've been the ones that I like the most because they're, super easy to use. Their licenses are super understandable. You just, as soon as, you download a song, it comes with the license already. So if YouTube ever tells you like, hey, there's a problem with the music, you can just attach like the license, and they normally clear it right away. And they have a really cool breakdown of like, if the mood you're looking for, the genre, if you want lyrics, if you don't want lyrics, and it's like really good music. So I use it for all of my projects actually.
Okay. I'm going to jump down here. What is Phrases with
With
Brian?
Brian. Okay, so Phrases with Brian is my attempt at being a host, just like you, wonderful sir, who are nailing it. I'm not as proficient, but I'm trying. So it was just another, I'm right now, I guess, as an artist exploring what I can and cannot do. So this was kind of like, I don't know if you ever saw Drunk History, but it's
No, I
like
haven't.
the Drunk History is it's a show where they reenact. So there's a guest and they're reenacting some sort of like moment, like it could be historical, I guess. Yeah, it's historical. So like, I don't know, the Alamo, for example, and they reenact it, but they're talking about it, and then they have actors like reenact it in a funny way because the narrator's voice is used over the actor's voice. And it's really funny. You should check it out if you get a moment. But
I will. I saw the, I saw the pen pal. I haven't watched the Phrases yet, so that's why I
yeah, no,
wanted.
I mean, you can watch this if you want, but I was saying you should watch like
Well,
Drunk History if you get a chance, because that's a lot of fun. But this is
oh,
like
I'll watch it.
thank you. This is the poor version of it because it's like, of course, there's no real production value, but it's me like, trying to get to know more people. So we recorded over Zoom, and then what I do is I do all the animation or animated parts based on what we're talking about in the platform, because the show is about exploring the origin of idioms. So like, Crocodile Tears was the latest one, and I had the opportunity to interview Eddie Zamora, which is a fantastic, kind of like celebrity style almost. He's a cook. He's done reality TV. He's done like scripted stuff. And so we just have fun and we talk about, history a little bit. We have fun and we have little games in there. So, a little bit for everything.
Very cool. I got two technical questions again. So, are you familiar with? I mean, are you kind of new to YouTube, or have you?
Yeah, super new to YouTube.
Okay, because I don't know if you're aware, you can create playlists so people can see
Yes.
all the stuff, and you put it on your main page, kind of thing. Just
I
an
think if you
FYI.
click on playlist, those two shows should be in their own playlist. I could have done it wrong, maybe, but
I want.
I was hoping.
I can point you in a direction. There's this thing called the Geek Authority channel. Uh, and if you go there, you can see how you can break it down. It makes it easier for
Perfect.
people to view what they want.
I'm
Kind of
gonna
thing.
check it out. Thank you.
Second question is, what kind of software are you using? How are you editing all this?
I edit everything in Premiere.
Really?
That's yeah. I just bought the Blackmagic Cinema 4K, and with that camera, you get a license for DaVinci Resolve, which is kind of like, I guess, the more standard or more commonly used software for editing and color correction. But I still haven't had the time to really experiment with it, so I'm still sticking with Premiere because I use heavily Photoshop and and Lightroom anyway. So I'm like, oh, I feel like I already know this so well that I don't want to switch just yet.
Now, is this expensive software for? And this
It
is for a lot
is,
of people watch this are first time
yeah,
editors,
no,
directors. Is it?
of
I
course.
mean,
It is definitely adds up. It's like about $50 a month for like the entire suite, which comes with like After Effects, Illustrator, Photoshop, everything they have. What I was doing before is I still, for like about 2 years, I was able to use my college email address to get a discount. So I was paying like 29 bucks a month. But then now I think they caught on that it's been forever that, it's like no one can be in college for that long. So they suspended that and now I have to pay full price. So I'm like, all right. I mean, I still get to do all of these things, so it's worth it.
but you look like you just graduated from high school and going
I should
into
send him a
college.
picture, right? And be like, look at me.
Look at this guy. He photographs. I don't want to say how old you are, but you're definitely you got that youth thing going,
Thank you. Thank you.
and milk it as long as you can because
I'll try.
it's gonna work for you.
Awesome.
Okay, so I wanted to switch over to, let's see here. I just got a couple, some that I pulled and some that you sent me. So let's talk about what we're looking at here.
Yeah, that's pretty much my go-to picture for all of my. I see it like right in front of me. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Perfect.
What is this about? What are you doing?
You know what? Like I started experimenting with photography a
Oh,
while ago. And this was just like one of my attempts of being cool. I was like, oh, I'm cool, which is ridiculous. I'm just going
yeah,
to
I love the shadowing. Love the lighting.
Thank you. But
Is
yeah,
that
it was. Uh-huh.
is that a background you have, or did you?
Yeah, that's my like signature yellow backdrop. So I think that's yellow is kind of my color for my branding. So yeah,
Nice. Okay. Oh, this is the
that's the one we
Super
talked
Bowl.
about. That's a commercial. It was a little behind the scenes for the Super Bowl commercial.
Are you getting direction there? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, it's the director, and look at that little pink purse I'm rocking. It's pretty cool, huh?
That's your wife's, right?
Allegedly.
And her shoes and her beauty supplies.
Everything she wanted me to buy her. That's yeah. I'm
Where did you
carrying.
shoot that, by the way? Where was that shot?
It was in San Diego. Yeah,
Oh,
we had to drive over there. It was a parking lot in San Diego that they had like blocked off, and the director was phenomenal. He was probably one of the most fun directors that I've been on set with. He was just so calm, and it was so easy to talk to him, and he had like a super clear vision. And honestly, I loved working with him. He
who is it?
manages.
What's his
I
name?
can't. I feel so bad that I can't remember his name.
Okay.
I'll probably email it to you if we can add it because he's so cool. But
I mean, I thought you were going to say somebody like Kenneth Branagh.
I wish. No, but he's so awesome. He runs the division for like Fox Sports. So
Oh,
he does like a lot of production for them. So this segment was produced by Fox Sports, weirdly, but it's this other company. I don't know exactly how all that works, but that's what he does, and he's so cool.
now, for those who are thinking about or gearing up for like commercial auditions, when you went into this, did they say, okay? I mean, I'm assuming they wanted that almost nerdy professional kind of look going there for you. Did they
Mhm.
tell you that, or did you get to set and they say, here, this is who you are?
Yeah, no, when they sent the when they posted the audition, the description of it was like a very geeky guy, a very like they use a word what is that place? Silicon Valley kind of guy. So I remember when I was doing my audition, those glasses are actually mine. So I use them for the audition, and like, I mean, I could definitely sell the corporate geek guy. So I was like, I made sure my hair was like all super slick, and yeah, I did the audition, and he really liked it. So yeah.
Yeah, and then you went to set and they wardrobe you, or is that your wardrobe?
Yeah, so a couple of things are mine. So they normally ask you like if you can bring some options just because sometimes your clothes fit you better than what they may have available. So the jumpers, I actually went and bought them because I always wanted some. And he was like, "Hey, by any chance, in case you have jumpers, can you bring them?" I'm like, "I don't have, but I don't mind going and buying him because I always wanted to have." So I went to like I don't remember, like at the time Marshalls or something, and I got those jumpers, and they ended up making it so like the glasses and the jumpers are mine, and the shirt I think, but the tie wasn't, nor the pants.
And by jumpers you mean the straps, right?
Yeah, I can't remember what they're called. The little,
Um,
they have a
yeah,
name, right? I thought it
yeah,
was
they
like
do, and
those
I'm
things.
old, and that's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. But that's totally cool. And of course, I'm assuming they give you a script, you kind of do a little run through or something, and then
Well,
it's all
yeah,
blocked, right?
yeah. I mean, this one didn't have any dialogue, so the script was just like the directions of like what we were gonna do that day. So we just ran it, me and my co-star, and we just kind of like blocked it. And then after that, I was just waiting. And then I also met this great guy, the lava monster that shows up. His name is Mark Valeriano, fantastic actor that's doing so much work right now. He's been like on short films and feature films, and he's just active all the time. We actually did a little sketch where I play Robin and he plays Batman, and it's hilarious. It's out there on my Instagram. But yeah, met a lot of
Oh,
people.
really? You can put that on YouTube. I want to watch that on YouTube.
Yeah, definitely. I'll put it out there.
Okay. Oh, what do we got here?
All right. So this was photographed by the super talented Josh Quintero. He is a great photographer, and now he's venturing into directing. But this was a photo shoot we did recently where I still had my COVID hair. So it was like super long hair. And I was just like, you know what? I want some pictures with this look because I'm going to go back to like short hair. So I just want to like have fun. And we went to a studio in LA, and he just snapped a couple of pictures of me.
Okay, now hopefully you'll like this, but what I'm picturing is just off camera behind you to the picture left.
Yeah.
Is a DeLorean.
I kind of, right? A
Yeah.
little.
Like, Doc, don't run me over. Okay, here we go. What do we got? Oh, hello.
Okay. This one was also a picture by myself. I actually, it's very interesting because a lot of people ended up telling me that this gave them like a very SNL vibe, those like little promos they have. And I was like, oh, I never thought about that. But in my mind, this photo was kind of like, I was like pretty, not burned out, but I was pretty tired of like doing a lot of things at the time and kind of like splitting myself a little too thin. So this was kind of a representation of me feeling like my creative juices were kind of draining away from me. And it was a constant reminder that that's not a thing, but sometimes you just feel a little bit, like sometimes you don't feel as creative or as motivated, and that's okay. It doesn't mean your superpowers are going away. It's just, you need to like calm down for a little bit,
Yeah, take a break, relax.
Yeah.
And I like the color, the slight little color palette there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, right. Oh, there he is.
We talked about the guy that passed away, Brian Larios.
No, don't say that. Don't say that. I can see him coming back. Tell me you wouldn't want to do an SNL skit. Huh?
Oh my God, are you kidding me? I'd love to. So hopefully they're listening to you, Lorenzo.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, send this video to SNL. Say, hey, what's his name? Lauren. Okay, so I want to do it. I usually do this with a lot of actors or writers or whoever I'm talking to. So your focus seems to be on producing your own material with you on camera. Am I correct? Or am I okay? So what advice would you give to someone, say a kid in high school watching this, or someone who's sitting, like you said earlier, in an office somewhere going, oh my God, I want to write, I want to produce, I want to act. And how would you tell them, what advice would you give them?
Honestly, I would tell them to just go out there and do it unapologetically, with whatever you have. Like if you don't have the money right now to spend on a expensive camera, don't, like shoot it on your phone. If you like, software to write is super like accessible. You can get Celtics, which is a couple of bucks a month for a subscription. And it's one of those things that I know that we have to have this day job, and I know that we're in a situation where, you need to pay bills and et cetera. But I've been watching a lot of podcasts of like artists. For example, I was watching a show about Marvel animators that used to do all of the comic books, something that I'm pretty sure you enjoy. And they were talking about how they would have their regular job, and then right after it and at nighttime, they would just be like drawing online until like 4 or 5 a.m. and then, start all over again, because fortunately they didn't have the means to just be like, okay, this is my full-time thing. But if you really are passionate about something, and you'll know if you are, because it's a thought that never leaves you. It's a thought that whether you're brushing your teeth, whether you're driving somewhere, it's like there. And sometimes we don't want to acknowledge it because we're scared of how that would change your life. But it's there. And if it's there, it means it's a passion. And I feel that you owe it to yourself to really at least try and give it your all. And if it doesn't work out, at least you're going to be able to go to bed saying, I tried it. And the thing that I love the most about this career is that as a grown man, although Lorenzo says I don't look like one, but as an adult person, it's given me the opportunity to meet and continue to meet people, which a lot of people that are not in this field kind of don't get to anymore. Where are you going to meet people? Before you would go to a bar or something, and then even so now that's not even an option because COVID, right? And luckily for actors and writers and producers, you just keep meeting people because that's the nature of what we do. And I have amazing friends because of it. So even if I don't ever make it to receive one of those little statues, I still can say I'm taking all my friends with me, which is amazing.
Right. And you're not doing it for the statues. You're doing it because you love it.
I mean, if it happens, I'm not going to say no, but I mean, have I prepared my speech? Maybe. I mean,
yeah. I've prepared my speech with my spoon or my spatula or whatever. The only thing I would add to that is a lot of people, you had mentioned if it doesn't work out or whatever, don't be afraid to stumble 4 or 5 times. Say you go to audition, say you go to 10 auditions. Honestly, what is it? 1 in 100 you might get the job booked, or is it more than that?
Oh, probably more. I'm not kidding you. Like I've gotten to auditions where I'm like, oh my God, like I did the best I could have ever done. And like you hear nothing. And then I go to auditions where I'm like, oh my God, like I should quit. And then I get those. Like the ESPN commercial one, I swear to God, I went there once and I was like, oh, I wanted to do all this and this because you relive the audition in your drive back home. And I was like, I should have done this and whatever. And then literally like I was parking and my agent called me and he's like, hey dude, you got a call back. And I'm like, oh my God. So then the nerves change and you're like, okay, now there's an expectation. What am I going to do different than the first time? So you go into the second audition and I was in the waiting room and I met, again, meeting people. I met Evan Gomez, who is like this actor model, and he was completely opposite to me. He was like this like fit dude, you know, like super sporty. And I'm like, I don't know why they have us both here. Like we're different look. Like what are they looking for? Maybe they don't know what they're looking for, right? So in my mind,
yeah, exactly.
in my mind, I'm like, Evan got it because he looks amazing. He's like super fit dude. I'm like, he's got it. I'm just gonna whatever. Like I'm here, so I'm gonna do it. So we did the audition and then we kept in touch afterwards. I'm like, dude, have you heard anything? He's like, no, I haven't. Have you? And I'm like, no, nothing. And then literally like a day later, they asked me, they're like, hey, we want to have you. And I was like, no way. So I told them and I'm like, dude, they just called me and he was super happy for me. We've been friends ever since. We're actually working together on a couple of things, but it was just interesting to see you don't know what they're looking for. And to also see that just like him, you know, he didn't get it. That doesn't mean he's not good. He's doing freaking amazing things now. He just had a spot with T-Mobile. He's like been modeling and like going all over the place. So it's like the no, you already have it. Just in life, you already have that no. Like by you not doing it and not trying, you already have the no. So anything above that, like a yes or like a meeting someone is like for me a gift. And that's what I really love about this is that you never know, but when it happens, it's just like a rush and it never ends. Like, it's not like I booked the job and I'm like, okay, I can relax now. Now it's like, oh my God, I'm going to be on set. I need to be my best. I need to show that I can do this. Cause sometimes you can go and they don't like you or whatever, and they could cut you off. It's never safe until it airs. You know, once you see it air, you're like, and maybe even there, I don't know if they could pull it off.
Or you hear those words, that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. And oh my God, I was there, Lorenzo. I was so nervous. And it was the biggest production I had done at the time.
And people watching this, the nervousness is part of the whole experience. So don't let that get to you either. I've seen people, you know, get physically sick or whatever. It's all part of the game. Relax. You're there. You know, whatever it is you did at the audition is why you're there now. And now it's just a matter of you giving them whatever it is they want on that day. But
Really,
the other thing I would also say is I've talked to a lot of actors whereby they suggest that, you know, give it, when you go to the audition, any audition, give it 145%. Go bigger than smaller, unless they specifically say this character's whispering, this character's quiet, this character's you know, downplay. But I've always told that because they can always pull you back versus, is this all the energy you have?
Yes.
I don't know. What do you think? What's your opinion?
I agree. I think it, you know, like you said, if they do feel like the character, for whatever reason, they envisioned him very like timid or less energy, but for whatever reason, the script doesn't translate that way and they're aware of it, they'll normally tell you. But I would say, I would agree that for the majority of the time, just try to be a little bit more energetic or out there, just because it's easy for someone to bring you down than it is for them to try to assume you can do bigger. Because they don't know you, right? These are strangers that are going to assume what you're giving them is all you got, right? Because we don't know you. So yeah, I agree that trying to have someone go bigger is always harder. And I think honestly, one of the things that I would always say, and I've been learning the hard way, is honestly try, and I know it's hard, but try to have fun in there because it's contagious. Like even if you mess up, even if like whatever happens, if you're having fun, you know, at the end of the day, I'm human. The person in front of the desk or behind the desk is human too. So we connect at that level, and it, like they're stressed too because they have to meet deadlines. They have to find this perfect person for the client. So they want you to do good. That's like, why would they want you to be bad? Otherwise, why did they call you, right? So it's just have fun and try to make a fan there. And that's all that matters.
Right. And most of the time, the auditions they're very courteous. They can see if you're visibly nervous. So they'll you know, do you want some water? Do you relax?
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready, you know, they'll be as helpful as they can, because obviously they're seeing a bunch of people. The only other advice I would give is I've been on auditions, meaning myself being auditioning, and I have also auditioned for projects that I've worked on in theater and whatnot. And the one thing that is a big, in my opinion, turn off is when you come off, don't come off, you're the best thing in the world. I want to say arrogant, but it's not arrogance. It's more of a, I can do that. Don't force yourself on them. If Be yourself. That's the best. When you're not performing or auditioning, just be yourself. Don't scare people away. That's just my opinion. What do you think of that?
I completely agree. I think, weirdly enough, I think everyone in this industry is so good at reading, not only verbal, but I mean, of course, body language and your attitude. And to add to what Lorenzo is saying is like, remember that as soon as you are in the vicinity of that place, you're supposed to be the best you, because you don't, if you honk at someone, he could have been the casting director. If you are an asshole in the waiting room, you never know who you're going to see again. Like the actor next to you could then be producing a thing, because that's the way the industry works. And it's basic manners. It's just be a nice human, regardless.
And let me tell you, one of the things that I went to audition for if this was for a production play, and got to the theater and whatnot. And there's a whole bunch of people. Obviously, they're doing a lot of auditions. And, they invited me to their version of a craft service table. If people who don't know, it's kind of like food spread out for cast and crew to, nibble on while they wait for something or whatever. And I'd met this lady and, was doing the whole celery, whatever. And we started talking. And then comes time, line up for your audition, sign in, the whole bit. And then I get there and it's like, oh, yeah, you're Lorenzo. Margaret, so-and-so had mentioned. And what happened is that apparently she was the wardrobe person, the costume designer, talked to him prior to the audition. I had no idea who she was or what she did. And she put it in there, oh, yeah, someone said something nice. So it's the little things that are going to get you the furthest, in my opinion.
I agree. I agree. Because I mean,
and they're going to want to work with somebody like me they can mold versus somebody who's sitting there going, I'm the best thing since cotton candy.
Exactly. No, I completely agree. And it's just, if you think about it, it's like basic human being behavior. Like you want to work with people you like at the bottom line, right? So if you like it, yeah, exactly. It's
remember, you're not there to like everybody, or not everyone's supposed to like you. Just if you do your job and you can work with you, that's the key.
Yeah. I mean, I've gotten I'm so blessed that for example, when we were watching the commercials, the one that I told you about, the pool one, that's the first time I met Scott Takai, and we hit it off, and we had this great iteration, and he brought me back for a second commercial, and then he brought me back for his own sketch comedy, and then right now we've worked together on my production, having him as a DP, and we have this friendship now where it's like, if I know of something that I can bring him on board, or a job that I'm like, I hear they need a DP, I'm more than happy to recommend him, and he recommends me as an actor. So it's don't expect only the producer, the director, to be the only one that can potentially give you an opportunity. And again, I'm not saying try to find an opportunity on everyone, but it's if it naturally, there's always that possibility of naturally evolving into something. So just try to always be your best, I guess.
Yeah, put your best foot forward.
Yes.
And when in doubt, I found out it's not. Don't be embarrassed about if you have to ask a question. Where to go? What do I need to do? They love it because it shows that you're interested in whatever it is you're doing. And you want to do it right.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. This is kind of cool. Now, what I usually do with most of my actor interviewees, I do is what's called a fast round. So I'm going to throw a bunch of questions at you. And all right. Because you are an actor, and it's always good to see where people come from. Can you tell me your favorite movie?
Toy Story. I know it's weird, but I love it.
Great film. It's a wonderful film. Favorite musical?
The Curious Dog. It has a really long name. The one with the curious, the mystery of the missing dog, or the dead dog. Oh my God, it's so good. I'm gonna send it to you afterwards because it has a long name, but I've seen it 3 times and it blows my mind every time. Anyway, that's it.
Never heard of it, really. And it's a musical.
It's a musical, yes. Fantastic.
Okay. Favorite dramatic piece. It can be theater, movie, whatever.
Oh wow. Oh, okay. Let me think. Her with Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh yes. The computer, right?
Visually, yes. I love that piece. Love it.
That was pretty good.
It was.
Favorite comedy.
Ooh. I mean, I'm supposed to be funny, huh?
I
That
mean,
one is gonna be tough. I don't know if I have a favorite comedy. I'm sad, but I don't know. I don't that one because
really,
I
I mean,
mean,
do
yeah,
you do you do like particular directors, Mel Brooks, or do you like um, I don't know where your comedy is. Do you like
I
Steve
just don't know.
Carell?
I don't know if there's ever been a comedy piece that like has stayed with me for that much that I'm like, oh my God, as more as drama. Like I always feel like I go more with drama. Comedy is just more like, it doesn't necessarily have like a great feeling for me, which is weird.
Wow,
Wow.
very
Don't hate
cool.
me, people. I like comedy.
Not at all, not at all. Remember, he's perpetual 17 years old. Um, we already have something. Anyway, so what about favorite kinds of experiences? You definitely prefer being in front of the camera versus behind? Do you prefer?
Oh, yes. I hate the conceitedness of that part, but I do love being in front of a camera. I'll always choose. I mean, I do the behind and everything as to get myself out there, but at the end of the day, I enjoy being in front of that lens.
So you do enjoy auditions? A lot of actors don't. Do you enjoy that part?
The audition part is like I used to hate it, and now I'm trying to form a better relationship at it. I'm trying to be like, well, either I get it or I meet someone. So let's make that our goal
Yeah,
and have
and you're
fun.
not the first person to tell me the ones they felt so bad they booked, and the ones that they like thought they nailed it were like, crickets, crickets.
Yeah, yeah. It's a fun
Okay,
game.
this has been a great time, Brian. You're an
You.
amazing performer. I actually seen this guy on stage, and let me tell you, he was hysterical. He did this voice, and I wish I could show you clips of it, but
I could do the voice. Let me see if I can do it.
okay.
Hey, it's Anthony Rosati. That was him, man. That was Anthony. He was a fun guy. I've never played a mob boss, so he was a lot of fun to
So
play.
tell it. It was a mob. You were a mob boss.
I was a mob boss, and technically the play is we're trying to resolve a mystery of the death of someone, and everyone thinks it's me because, of course, I'm a mob boss. But honestly, I had so much fun with the character, and I have to say that there were a couple of moments that I messed up, and no one knew because it actually played to our favor. You're not going to remember this, Lorenzo, because it's been forever, but there's a moment in the play where we're all back, like all of the characters are back because we're going to be interrogated by this main detective who was played by Walter Cartman, and I'm supposed to have the first line, and I completely forget. And you know what the worst thing is, that although I'm the one that's stalling the whole thing, in my mind I'm like, these actors that are not, like they're not prepared, and I'm like, it was me, and then I realized it was me, and I'm like, oh, but it works so well because the whole scene, without knowing, was supposed to be we're waiting for this detective and we're all pissed, we don't want to be there, it's late at night, everyone came from their homes, and it just worked out. So the next time we tried it, of course, it wasn't that much of a gap, but we definitely included the gap. And there was another quick moment that I love, and hopefully Walter Cartman forgives me, but we had never rehearsed. I had like a fake cigar, and we had never rehearsed it. But in that one take, I just like flicked it, and it just hits him by mistake. Like I literally just wanted to like flick it off as like I'm mad or whatever, and it just ends up hitting him, and that's when I got my first like huge laugh, and then we kept that. So I'm like, Walter, I'm sorry I have to hit you now, but that's what the people want.
Wow. Well, the silent part, when you realized what you were doing, did you own up to it backstage, or did you?
Yeah, I told him, I'm like, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I forgot it was me. And I even told them, honestly, I'm like, and I was judging you guys because I thought you guys lost your line and it was me. And they were all like, yeah, we were not sure what was happening. And Walter was saying, like, I was about to just run out there. But it worked out. It was fun. And that's one of those things where it's like, we would have never thought, if
Right.
it
Well,
wouldn't have happened by mistake.
you got to realize too, for people watching this, live theater is amazing. And they do. I mean, it happens. It's ultimately going to happen to almost everybody, where you're going to forget a line, or forget a blocking, or forget a prop, or a prop breaks. I've been to a play where a prop shattered, and I'm like, you got to
Oh,
go with it. You just got to go with it. And those are the fun parts. And then there's plays like the comedies. I've only really seen this a lot, where you can tell a person's performance is cracking up everyone else, and they're doing their darndest to do the look away, or the I gotta stay in character. And for me, those are funny because I'm a big fan of Carol Burnett, and if you've ever
yes.
watched Harvey Korman and Tim Conway,
Yeah.
you know they could just read the phone book and it would be funny.
And it would be hilarious. Yes. I love that.
Anyway, so Brian, I appreciate so much you doing this. This was great fun for me. You gave
Yeah.
some great advice to everyone out there in terms of acting and doing commercials, and you've got your productions going on. He's got his YouTube channel, his website, and so on and so forth. Um, I'm just curious. One last question: Are you into? Do you recommend people marketing themselves or branding themselves
Oh yeah.
immediately, or where does that come in?
Well, I mean, I don't know if you could do it immediately, but as soon as you can, I totally recommend it because at the end of the day, we're the business. This is a product, work with what you got. So of course, a lot of it is discovery. Like I said, I thought I was Brian Hilarious for the longest time because I was getting cast in comedy and because everyone told me I was a funny guy and because, that was like how I was feeling like I was going forward. And then in my evolution of like trying things, showing people things, having meetings with people, I discovered, well, I like to do drama too. And so for me, my marketing has been an evolving process and it's been quote unquote, hopefully getting better as I mature as an artist and as I get more experience. But I'd say if you're just starting right now, especially with things being a little bit more accessible with technology and everything, at least try to think of a broad strategy of like, there's simple exercises you could do where you can ask complete strangers to like look at you and tell you a couple of adjectives of what do they get from you? Like, what's your essence? Like, are you more funny? And you could use that to kind of like customize and see if it matches you. Because again, if everyone's telling you you do drama and you just love doing comedy, you kind of have to make that decision. Well, do I want to go path of least resistance, be super dramatic, and then when I get the hype and everything, I show everyone now I can do comedy too? Or do you just want to like from the beginning be like, no, I do both or I do comedy? It's like, it's a decision that you're going to have to make as an artist, but just remember it's not perpetual. You can always change. I mean, we're always changing, right? So
Absolutely. I like how you said I'm a product. It's kind of like we're all out there selling something.
yeah,
In fact, I thought that right there on your shoulder, was that a price tag there? Oh.
It is. I'm not going to reveal the price just yet.
It's zeros rolling all down your shoulder. A 1 and a 0. Okay, anyway. So thank you so much for doing this for me. This was great fun for me. I hope it was fun for you.
It was
the audience. I tell you, it's great. And just so you guys know, Brian Larios. Am I saying that properly?
Yes, Larios. Yes.
Larios. Okay. And I'm Lorenzo Marchessi. Please subscribe. Help me out here. Point somewhere. There's a button.
There's a button
somewhere here that you can subscribe. Click the little bell.
Comment, engage. Everything. Lorenzo's awesome. You're not going to want to miss the shows.
Wait a minute.
Look at you, all prepared.
It was way over there. I'm like, okay. Don't forget to watch my other shows, the Talk About show where we talk about different subjects. Don't forget to watch the Unboxing the Geek Authority where I open up new stuff and I see it for the first time and you see it for the first time. As well as I also have the Geek Authority's Mysterious Chamber of Collectibles where I literally open up my closets, look under my pillow and show you stuff that I've been collecting since I was literally years old. And it's always fun. Thanks again, Brian. This was absolutely fun. And again, we will see you on stage, on the TV, in the movies, and maybe you'll get one of those statuettes.
You will. You know what? I'm gonna send a copy to all my friends. As soon as I get it, I'm just like,
you heard it here. You heard it here. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you on the next show.
Bye.
Say goodbye. Bye.